All right, we have a huge box of World War II stuff today, so let's see what we got here. Enemy at the Gates, The Battle for Stalingrad. That was a good movie. Terrible battle. The War, A Concise History. The Battle is the Payoff. That's a serious statement. The Fall of Crete by Alan Clark. Combat, European Theater, World War II. The Forgotten Soldier by Guy Sager. That's a bit of a classic. The Fatal Decisions, The Battles of Britain. The Bridge over the River Kwai. They made that a movie. I'm Afraid and I Don't Want to Die. Sounds like a Holocaust book. But for These Men, Commando book. To the Marianas. The Pacific War must have been crazy. The Moon is Down by Steinbeck. This is an infantry version of the book that was given to soldiers. Panzer Leader by Hans Guderian. I used to play Hans Guderian in a video game. The World at War, infantry journal, also made for soldiers. Great Untold Stories of World War II. That's what I need. More stories of World War II. The Guns of August. This is World War I, but Barbara Tuchman is a classic in the World War I books. The Theory and Practice of Hell. Okay. By Quentin Reynolds. He wrote a lot of World War II stuff, so I guess that's why it's just anthology. More stuff made for soldiers by the Infantry Journal. I Knew Your Soldier. All right. The Thin Red Line. That's a heavy movie. This is the novel. Author of From Here to Eternity. I think that's Korea, though, not World War II. The Stragglers. This is a crazy story. This is... these Japanese guys just like didn't surrender, didn't know the war was over until like the 1980s. I think these guys were fighting on some island in the Philippines, I think, like killing farmers for like 40 years. Secret Weapons of World War II by Gerald Paul. Yeah, World War II got all the good ones. Born of Battle by Robert Crane. The Origins of the Second World War. This is kind of a classic in the field. The 9 Days of Dunkirk. That was a heavy movie. That new Dunkirk movie they made, that was crazy. Here's another Bridge over the River Kwai. Iron Coffins. I've always thought about it. Submarines must have been... I don't know. I guess infantry's terrible, but I wouldn't want to be in a submarine. Alright, they're not going to let me show this book probably, but that's the Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, but it has a symbol that you can't show anymore. The Strange Land by Ned Calmer. A Woman in Berlin, 1945. Man, Berlin, when it fell, what must have been hell on earth. More. How many copies of this do I have? The Bridge over the River Kwai. They must have printed that book a million times. Defeat in the West by Milton Schumann. I guess about Normandy and stuff. The Greatest Raid of All. What's this about? 611 commandos in a tiny wooden boat against the pride of the German Navy. I don't know what story that's about, but that sounds cool. Oh, look. Band of Brothers. Is this like the original Band of Brothers from the Company of Marines? I don't know. I don't know if this is the original Band of Brothers, but I don't think they were Marines. They were paratroopers, so. The Assassination of Heydrich. Action Above and Beyond. This guy is just freaking running with a fucking... I forgot, a Browning machine gun. Is my military correct? Browning machine gun. Island Victory. Another infantry journal printed for a soldier. More stuff from the infantry journal. Report on India. Fighting Forces series. Alright. Anzio. That's a terrible battle. And Italy was a hard... No one ever talks about the Italian campaign. Never So Few. Also a lot of... That's where most of Canada's veterans fought in Italy. Combat Pacific Theater. Italy never loses a war. They just switch sides last minute. They're very, very smart. Company Commander by Charles MacDonald. Submarine by Edward Beach. I would not want to be in a submarine. We're getting through this box. Let's have patience. Treblinka, one of the, what do you call it, concentration camps. Valley of Fire, one of the greatest war novels of all time by Charles Howe. The Ignorant Armies. All right, World War I. Secret War and Hitler's Secret War in South America. A lot of espionage in Argentina, Cuba, Brazil, Colombia. D-Day, the 6th of June. Okay, D-Day must have been rough. Operation Cicero. Who was Cicero? A spy. Do not go gentle. All right, Guadalcanal. Dude, World War II must have been Wake Island Command. I don't know. I don't understand how that even happened. Doomsday Mission. How do millions of people just say, hey, let's go over the hill and just like all kill each other? Let's go. Let's do it. Strangers and Comrades. I'm convinced. I have a theory of history that's involves a lot of alcohol. I think people are just drinking a lot and just making sloppy decisions. Execution, Colin McDougall. Like, I think all of imperialism and colonialism, all of that was just a giant drunk fest of just madness. Arthur C. Clarke, Childhood Den. All right, well, this is not exactly a World War II book, but why not? Or is it? Attack, The Friend by Perry Wolfe. I'm sure World War II had an influence in that book. The Frogmen. All those guys were the scuba diving saboteurs. War Cry, Behind Enemy Lines in World War II. All right. Helmet for My Pillow. This is a really like sought after book. I don't know if it's World War II or if it's Korea. But I know that a lot of people are really after this book. I've had the hardcover version of this book. I've done really well with it. Tank Sergeant by Ralph Zumbrio. That Brad Pitt tank movie was pretty awesome. This is a map of Normandy. If I were to pull it out, it would be the whole battle map. That'd be pretty cool. All right, The Bridge. This is a story. They made it a movie back in the day of just a bunch of like teenage Germans that put to defend against like the Allies at the end of the war. It's kind of sad. The Marauders. Burma Jungles. Nobody talks about Burma either. Burma was a mess. U-Boats at War. German submarines. All right. The Devil to Pay by Robin Moore and the Green Berets. More like Vietnam, probably. Green Berets. Wait, we got a little bit of tumbling over here. All right. The OSS and I. Early, like CIA. Iwo Jima. The name says it all. All right. The Beardless Warriors, a monumental novel of World War II. Look at that awesome cover art. All right. To Hell and Back by Audie Murphy. Oh, we got a gothic romance novel mixed in. La Monte. All right. Prisoner and Yet by Corey ten Boom. The Bridge at Remagen. That's like D-Day stuff. The Dirty Dozen. They've made that a movie, I think, twice. All right, we're getting here. Hemingway, Men at War. War Stories by Hemingway and others. Another copy of Anzio. Combat. Brazen Warriors by a North Africa Corps group. Sterling's Desert Raiders. So we have two desert North Africa books. We're getting to the bottom here. The Wooden Horse. True story of the most fantastic escapes of all time. Oh, I almost fell into a box. All right. The Mountain Road by Theodore Wright. I don't know if this is World War II or Korea. Last book in the box, sorry it was a big box today, is Battalion by Norman Daniels. Hope you guys enjoyed this World War II box. Alright, there's always more books. I'll be trying to get you a video a day at least. Thank you. Please subscribe. Please join.